Hey there, and welcome to the Genesis, where new beginnings aren't just a dream, they're a strategy. If you're ready to take control of your finances, unlock your personal potential, and start living a life filled with purpose, growth, and abundance, then you're in the right place. Here, we break down the complex stuff, from smart money moves and building passive income, to powerful mindset shifts and practical life strategies, all so you can focus on what really matters, which is to becoming the best version of yourself. Our mission? To do the homework so you don't have to, delivering clear, but we will give you actionable advice that helps you not just survive, but thrive. So if you're ready to stop waiting and start building your extraordinary future, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to tap the bell so you never miss an episode. Welcome to the Genesis, let's grow together.
You know the one.
Yeah, you look at a big project, maybe just your to-do list, and it's like, there's this invisible wall there.
Mm-hmm. And those goals, they start feeling heavy, like burdens, right? And habits you want. Forget about starting.
It's like motivation just vanished.
Mm-hmm.
Procrastination totally pins you down.
Right. And you want to get stuff done, or you need to, but actually starting, it just freezes you up.
Exactly. And, you try the usual things, making super detailed plans, setting massive goals, trying to just muscle through it with willpower.
Yeah, the just do it approach, which, let's be honest, often ends up with you on the couch, maybe scrolling your phone.
Totally. And then comes that awful feeling later in the evening, that regret.
Mm-hmm. And it can really start to feel like, maybe I'm just not built for this. Like all that potential is just stuck.
We saw this really clearly in the source material we looked at, especially with this story about someone named Alex.
Yeah, Alex's story was quite striking. He talked about feeling completely stuck, like hitting snooze, not just on the alarm clock, but kind of on his whole life.
Wow. Even his apartment, it said, was sort of messy and neglected, reflecting how we felt inside.
Exactly. And he reached this point, kind of a rock bottom, facing this huge overdue project. He was genuinely considering just giving up completely.
So he's really down, feeling like he's failed at everything he tried. And then the sources say he stumbles across this idea online.
An idea that, frankly, sounded a bit ridiculous. It was called the 5-minute rule.
5 minutes? Seriously?
The basic concept was, pick that task you're avoiding, commit to doing it for only 5 minutes. That's it.
Okay.
And the crucial part, after 5 minutes, you can stop. Totally guilt-free.
Right. Alex must have been, super skeptical. I mean, 5 minutes. What's that going to achieve against a mountain of procrastination?
Totally skeptical. He thought it sounded like a gimmick, Just silly.
But I guess when you're at rock bottom,
you've got nothing to lose, right? So the material says he decided, okay, what the heck, I'll try it.
So what did he do?
He picked one tiny, tiny piece of that big, scary project, set the timer on his phone for 5 minutes.
Okay.
And started, apparently with this huge internal eye roll, just completely expecting it to be pointless.
All right, so this is the moment. Let's really unpack this 5-minute trick. What exactly is it? And according to the research and articles, why on earth does something so simple actually work?
Okay, yeah, let's break it down. So the rule itself, distilled from the sources, is really straightforward.
Step 1.
Find that thing you're putting off. Identify the task.
Got it.
Step 2, make a solid commitment, but only for 5 minutes. Just 5.
Okay, tiny commitment.
Then you set a timer, 5 minutes, and during that time, you really focus just on that one thing. No distractions if possible.
And when the timer goes off?
That's the check-in point. You ask yourself, how do I feel? And you have explicit permission from yourself to stop right there. No guilt. Done. Or, if you're feeling it, if you've maybe gotten into it a bit, you can choose to keep going. Reset the timer or just continue.
But the permission to stop is key.
Absolutely crucial. It removes the pressure.
Okay, but why? Why does just 5 minutes break through that resistance, that wall we talked about? It still feels kind of backward.
Well, what the sources really highlight is that procrastination often isn't actually about the task itself. It's about the feeling you get when you think about starting it.
Ah, okay. The dread.
Exactly. That overwhelm, the anxiety, that's what makes us slam on the brakes. The 5-minute rule changes the game because it makes that first step incredibly small, tiny, non-threatening.
So your brain doesn't freak out as much?
Pretty much. It barely registers 5 minutes compared to, say, write a 20-page report. You're reframing it. It's not write the report, it's jot down some ideas for 5 minutes, much less scary.
Lowering the bar, basically.
Exactly. Lowering the activation energy, as one source put it, making it super easy to just begin.
And then momentum takes over.
That's the idea. Because honestly, the hardest part is just getting started, isn't it?
Oh, definitely.
Once you're actually doing it, even for like 30 seconds, something shifts.
Yeah.
That vague dread you felt, it often just evaporates. Because you're dealing with the concrete thing now, not the scary idea of it.
Interesting. And there was something about unfinished tasks.
Ah, yes. The Zeigarnik effect. It's this cool psychological thing. Our brains apparently don't like leaving things unfinished. They kind of hang around in your head.
Like an annoying notification?
Kind of. So even doing just 5 minutes creates what they call an open loop. It puts the task on your brain's radar, and that can actually create this little pull, this urge to go back and finish it.
Huh. So starting makes you want to continue.
Yeah.
And I think you mentioned a reward thing, too.
Yes, absolutely. So when you finish that 5-minute block, even if it's tiny progress, you get a little hit of dopamine.
The feel-good chemical.
Exactly. A little reward, a sense of accomplishment, and that starts to build a positive feedback loop. You begin associating this task, which used to just bring dread, with feeling. Well, good.
So you're kind of tricking your brain into liking it, or at least not hating it so much.
You could say that. It reinforces that taking action, even tiny action, feels better than sitting there feeling stuck.
So it sounds like the big takeaway from the sources is that action creates motivation, not the other way around.
That's the core principle, yeah. And the practical steps are all about making that easy. Pick the task, set the timer, focus, check in. Remember that just doing the 5 minutes is a win.
Make it ridiculously easy to start.
That's the goal.
Okay, let's jump back to Alex. He did his skeptical 5 minutes on that project. What happened when the timer actually dinged? Was he relieved?
Well, that's the fascinating part. He wasn't relieved at all. According to the story, he was actually kind of into it.
Really?
Yeah. The mental fog he'd felt thinking about it, it had lifted because he was doing it. And suddenly, stopping felt wrong, like interrupting something good.
Wow, so that tiny, tiny spark actually lit a fire.
It really seemed to. He reset the timer. 5 minutes became 10, then 20. An hour went by, and he looked up shocked. He'd made more actual progress in that single hour than he had in weeks.
Incredible. Just from that 5-minute start.
Yeah, the momentum, that Zeigarnik thing, the dopamine, it all just seemed to kick in once he overcame that initial hurdle.
And did this work for other stuff? Or just that one project?
Oh, it definitely snowballed. That came through clearly in the examples. He started trying it on other things he'd been avoiding, like his messy kitchen. He'd tell himself, okay, just 5 minutes of dishes. But what happened? Almost every time, 5 minutes stretched, he'd do the dishes, then think, oh, I might as well wipe the counter, then take out the trash.
He just kept going once he started.
Exactly. He started feeling that same buzz that, hey, I actually did something feeling. It felt awesome, he said.
So that identity started to shift, right? From the guy who can't start
to the guy who just does things for 5 minutes. And those 5 minutes kept unlocking more time, more action.
Did he use it for other things too?
Yeah, tidying up, planning his week. He even started a 5-minute stretching routine, which apparently really boosted his energy levels.
So the key lesson for him was action first, motivation follows.
Absolutely. That was his big realization. And his whole internal state changed. Less guilt, less frustration, replaced by this quiet, growing confidence.
And real results, too, like the cleaner apartment, projects done early.
Tangible proof. He was building real discipline, but not through, like, gritting his teeth and suffering. It was through consistency with that tiny first step. He proved to himself he wasn't inherently lazy. That lazy Alex just faded away.
That transformation, building confidence 5 minutes at a time, is so powerful, which really brings it home for anyone listening, right?
Exactly. Alex's story is basically proof of concept. Small, consistent actions add up to huge change. It's about working with your brain's wiring, not fighting against it.
And the best part seems to be that literally anyone can try this. It doesn't require some special talent.
Not at all. Just the willingness to make that first step almost laughably small.
And beyond just getting chores or projects done, what's the deeper benefit the sources point to?
I think the biggest one is building self-trust. That came up repeatedly.
How so?
Well, every single time you make that little promise, I'll do this for 5 minutes, and you actually do it, you're sending a message to yourself, hey, I follow through.
You're keeping your word to yourself.
Exactly. And that builds confidence layer by layer. It starts changing how you see yourself. You become someone who takes action, not someone who just thinks about it or gets stuck.
That's huge. Were there any, like, booster tips in the material? Ways to make the 5-minute trick even stickier?
Yeah, a couple of good ones. One was habit stacking.
Okay, what's that?
It's basically linking the new tiny habit, your 5-minute task, to something you already do automatically without thinking.
Like brushing your teeth?
Perfect example. So you might say, okay, after I brush my teeth, I will immediately spend 5 minutes tidying the kitchen counter. The existing habit acts as a trigger.
Makes sense. Leverages existing routines. What else?
The other main tip was setting up your space for success, specifically for those 5 minutes. Just making it as easy as possible to focus for that short burst. So maybe have the book you want to read open on the table. Close distracting tabs on your computer. Put your phone on silent. Remove friction.
Minimize the barriers for just those 5 minutes.
Exactly. Make it smooth to just slide into it.
And it's really important to stress again, right? Sometimes 5 minutes will be all you do. You'll hit the timer and stop.
Absolutely. And that is 100% okay. That's part of the rule.
It's not failure if you only do 5 minutes.
Not at all. You still started. You still overcame the inertia. You made progress. That is the win for that day. Consistency beats intensity here. Focus on just showing up for those 5 minutes.
So if we boil down everything from the sources, all the research, Alex's story, the core message seems pretty clear.
Yeah, it's like ditch the grand battle against procrastination. Build discipline with this one tiny, consistent promise to yourself.
The 5-minute rule.
Just drop the bar for starting so low that resistance kind of melts away. Make starting the easiest option.
Okay, so here's the challenge for everyone listening. Right now, think of one thing, just one thing you've been putting off, big or small, doesn't matter.
Yep, take that one thing.
And commit right now to tackling it for just 5 minutes sometime today. Set a timer on your phone, really focus for those 5 minutes, and just see what happens.
Seriously, what have you got to lose? 5 minutes. But you might gain a whole new way to actually get things done.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? That whole feeling of being lazy or unproductive, maybe it's not some deep character flaw.
Maybe it's just our brain's natural reaction to feeling totally overwhelmed by how big getting started feels sometimes.
So if that's true, maybe waiting around for motivation to strike is the real trap.
What if action comes first? What if just starting for only 5 little minutes is actually all the motivation you need to unlock everything else?